This is Twit.
Hello, everybody. Today I'm going to talk to you about QSLing. There's two different ways you can do that. One is electronically, and another is using cards. Cards are a lot of fun. They're great conversation people. If people want to know about you and your hobby, a lot of people see my cards on the wall, and I get asked questions a lot. And it's really a lot of fun. It's back to the old school of the hobby. And the other way is obviously electronically, like EQSL or LOTW, also known as Logbook of the World. That I'm going to show you down the road another time on how to get set up on LOTW, because I know it can be intimidating for some people because there's a lot of steps involved and it's kind of confusing. So I will be going through a step-by-step guide on how to get set up and install LOTW. But for now, we're going to talk about cards. Now, you're out there DXing and contesting. You're going to want to make get some confirmations from some of these countries you worked. You're also going to start to get cards in the mail, and they're going to want to get a card back. So the first thing you need to do is get some cards. There's some logging software out there that'll actually print the cards for you. I like to order the cards and get the hard card stock and just fill them out. Here's some of my cards. I couldn't find my original one, but this is my more recent card. And then on the back is where I would fill in the information. And it's kind of bright. Currently, I'm using this card in honor of the 100th anniversary of the ARRL. I thought I'd order some ARRL cards. And this one I like because I can put the information right there on the front of the card. And then this was a card I recently ordered for when I was on the island of Saba, PJ6. When I worked them outside of the contest, I didn't use the contest call sign, which is PJ6A. So I used my own call sign, PJ6/NV9L. So I got a lot of people sending me QSL cards wanting cards back. So I had to get cards made up for that. When you do send a card, you're going to need to put in there certain required information to make it count. What is going to be required is obviously the call sign of the station you worked. Let me see if I can get a better picture of this. You're going to need to get the call sign of the person you worked, the date you worked them, and the time in UTC time. Also, you're going to need to put the band or frequency you worked them on, the mode you worked them on, and a signal report. That's required. You're also going to have usually a box on there to check whether you want them to send you a card back or thanks for your card, thanks for the contact, and that means they don't have to send you a card. So mine says QSL and has a PSE for please, meaning I want to get a card back, or TNX, thanks, you don't need to send me a card. And I check that box. So now you fill out the card. Now you need to know how they want to get their card. Some of them will go through a QSL manager. That's very handy if they're in another country and say their QSL manager is right here in the U.S. So that'll save you some postage. Also, they might go direct, or they might let you use the bureau. So let's start with direct. They want you to send direct only. That's the only way they'll do it, and it goes right to them. You're going to fill out your card, put in the required information, and then you're going to fill out an envelope with your address on it. Now, I like to get the envelopes that come with the privacy thing on them. See that it's got the blue squiggly thing so you can't see through it. Because I'm going to put my card in there in the envelope addressed to me, and I'll show you why. Because sometimes they're going to require green stamps. Now, obviously, it's not recommended that you send any cash through the mail, but sometimes it's unavoidable. So if that's the only way you can get your confirmation, it's usually $2 they're going to want, because it costs about probably $1.15 or $1.20, something like that, to send an envelope here. It also costs them the cost of the card and the time to write it out. When these guys are out there and they're running a pile up and they're running 100, 200 guys an hour, they could go bankrupt if they had to pay for all the people that want a confirmation, especially from some of these rarer countries. Everybody's going to want a confirmation. When you work DX, you need to pay for the postage for them to get it to you. So So if they want green stamps, usually it's $2. I get $2. I try and get crisp, fresh new ones because it's kind of cool. And then I fold them up and I stick them, I hide them in here. Now, you're not going to be able to hold that up to the light and see that there's cash in there because, again, I got the privacy envelope and I have my QSL card in there, so you cannot see through this at all. Then I take this envelope and I put it inside the envelope I have addressed to them. Now, when you address the envelope to them, you make sure you do not put their call sign on the envelope, because that's a sure sign to anybody that could be money in here. And so this could go missing and never make it to the person you're mailing it to. So even better, if you can find a commercial envelope of some kind with company name and logo and things like that and address it to that person, then for sure people will not think that there's cash in here. They'll think it's just business. And then you mail that off. The other way is through the bureau. Now, if you want to send your cards through the bureau, you have to be a member of the ARRL. Any membership level, it doesn't matter. But you complete all your cards, but now this time you won't have to fill out any addresses or anything. You just have to put the required information: call sign, date, time, band mode, and signal report. And then when you're done, you need to organize these and put these in country code prefix alphabetical order. So what does that mean? Germany, that country code is DL. So DL, you put them all together. Now say you send something to England or the UK, their country code prefix is a G. So obviously all the German cards would go before the UK cards. Now say the person you're sending a confirmation to in England, their call sign begins with an M. Does it go by the M's or does it go by the G's? It actually goes by the G's. It goes by the actual letter of the DXCC entity. Now, if you need to know what those letters are, you're going to have to go online and find that out. I actually have an amateur radio world map which lists every country code on there, and that's really handy. So do that, put them in alphabetical order based on their DXCC country code, and then you're going to need to determine how much you need to, what size check or money order you need to include with that to the outgoing QSL Bureau. Now, if you're going to be sending them 10 or less cards, it's going to be a flat $2. If you're going to be sending them 11 to 20 cards, it's $3. Now, when you send them a bigger chunk, you can do it by the weight. It's 75 cents an ounce, I believe. Say you wanted to send 255 cards, it's about $18. So you can't beat that deal. They need to be a standard size card, obviously, too. Bundle that all up, include the payment, and send that off to the outgoing QSL Bureau. And this is their address here. It's very important before you just send everything off to the Bureau. You need to look everybody up on QRZ and see if they accept their cards via the Bureau. So that's it pretty much for the cards, and I'll see you guys next time. And in the meantime, have fun DXing and contesting.